Hey everyone, I said that last time I wanted to bring the Fat Albert theme song in to the show, and this time, by golly, I did it. Hey everyone, this is Sunny Cadwallader, and welcome to We Think We Have a Name. We might have a name. Last time, if you joined us last time, it was the No Name College Football Show. We were asking for your help in naming our show. I think we've come up with a name. Actually, my partner, Nick Paulenich, has come up with a name. Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Good, good. And yourself, Sonny?
I am a little tired. Was up late doing some writing last night, but we've come to Wednesday, and it's been. You know what? To be honest with you, Nick, it's been a month since I've actually been to a college football game and covered it, and I get to do it again this weekend, and I am psyched.
Oh, wow. Where are you going?
I'm going to Eastern Washington.
Oh, nice.
They had the entire month of September off. I mean,
Jeez.
off away from home. They had one bye week, but they were gone playing 3 away games, one of which was exciting that we already talked about, so we're not going to talk about it again. But I'm excited. I actually get to go to a game, thankfully, and wouldn't you know it, it's gonna be an exciting weekend all across college football. But we have a name, I think.
Yes, we do.
Are you gonna tell us what it is, Nick?
Oh, no, I didn't know if you wanted to roll it out. Yeah, we're just like building
wait.
it. It's the ultimate tease. So.
Okay, hang on. See, we spare no expense on this show,
Exactly.
so hang on.
It's
And Nick?
Crossing Routes with Sonny and Nick. So no longer the No Name Show that has been retired.
Well, if we get some negative feedback on crossing routes, we might. If somebody throws a penalty on us, then we might have to go back. Of course, it made for an easy hashtag.
Exactly, and if our focus groups, if it ends up coming back negatively, we'll change it.
Yeah, you and your focus groups. As of right now, your focus groups rock, Nick.
Awesome.
So be sure you tell your peeps that, okay?
I will. I'll let them know. We're getting good feedback.
There we go. Yes, everyone. So welcome to the Crossing Route Show. I am Sunny Cadwallader, better known as Cad Chica. He is Nick Paulenich, better known as N. Paulenich on Twitter. And we're here to talk about some college football. It's been 2 weeks since we gathered together to enter into the Mecca, the church of college football. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, we have a lot to talk about, Nick. And we are going to start in your neck of the woods. Your neck of the woods in Michigan. And to say that there's controversy in Michigan land, in Wolverine land, in the big house is an understatement. Take it away, Nick.
Yeah, it's never good when you're on the cover of USA Today and it's not because you won a championship or anything. You know, when you're looking and you're across on the newsstand and everything, and you're getting, or on the Today Show, when the Today Show is covering you as well. But
wow,
yes,
I missed that one.
Yeah, I mean, I missed it too. I'll be honest, I'm not a big Today Show, but I saw it was on the Today Show. So, but the whole Brady Hoke leaving Shane Morrison, as most folks know by now, unless you live under a complete rock, has just been a complete mess on top of just the mess that Michigan football has been up to this point. And then just today, Devin Gardner has been reinstalled as the starter for this week at Rutgers. Basically, this past week has probably been a case study in how not to do public relations, and just from the press releases being released at, statements at 1 a.m. in the morning to press conferences where it's
who releases something at 1 a.m. in the morning? What on what business here in America, here in North America, releases a statement at 1 a.m. in the morning? I don't get. Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's a real good question. I mean, if you have business like you said on the other side of the world, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. And then there was another release that was sent out the next day that was like 6 p.m. and 6 or 7 p.m. in the afternoon, which was obviously, I mean, obviously these are, they're done intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just left the program. As I was telling you off air, I live up here, and there's a lot of good things going on in the Detroit metro area in sports. The
Right.
Tigers are getting set to play in the playoffs. The Lions are 3-1. We know the Lions are not always very successful. Michigan State's off to a good start, but the airwaves have been dominated by Michigan football all week. It's just been this whole thing, and Hoke's already been under fire. Nobody can understand how nobody could see that this kid was, wobbling all over. Where was the breakdown? And then that always goes back to one of the big things that Hoke has always been under fire whenever they have not. Why doesn't he wear a headset? And then
Mm-hmm.
it goes back to things like that. David Brandon, he's starting to get under fire. That it goes back to the money with the attendance issues. They've had a rally at the campus. People calling for him to be fired. It's what you'd call a mess right now.
Yeah.
And
Just a couple quick things um, um, on that. Obviously, a lot of people are saying if Michigan was undefeated, would there be as much of an outcry? And obviously, it's amplified by social media, by Twitter. People just spouting off their opinions. Left and right, whether it's media or fans. Um, I was listening to the debut of the all-female sports talk show We Need to Talk last night, and the reason why I bring that up is because Tracy Wolfson and Allie LaForce, they both are sideline reporters for CBS. They both work college games, and Tracy Wolfson works NFL games, so she was able to bring a perspective to compare between the two. In that, in the NFL, as soon as someone is suspected of a concussion, the medical staff is the one that does the evaluation. They give him the concussion test. They take away his helmet right away, so he cannot go back in. In college, it's up to the training staff, the whatever medical doctor or medical staff is on the sidelines. There's no guidelines to immediately take away, excuse me, take away his helmet. So the other thing that Allie brought up was that in college, because it's left up to the medical staff and training staff, Brady Hoke could have been talking to another coordinator, talking to one of his assistants, talking with another player. You leave it up to your staff, correct? That's the way they made it sound. You leave it up to your staff to make the assessment. You trust in your medical staff and training staff. I don't necessarily think she was throwing them under the bus, but it's a big contrast between how each level handles anything related to concussions. But again, my question would be, would there be this much outcry if Michigan was undefeated?
I think that this has been kind of rolling along. I agree. I think there would be some outcry just because there's been the whole concussions, but I don't think it would be at the level. They're 0-3 this year versus Power 5 teams. They've only scored 24 points. Michigan, this is the first time before October in the history of the program they have 3 losses. So there's a lot of you lose to Minnesota, who
Yep.
there were people that were like, why are we taking this brown jug back to Minneapolis with us?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much had permanent residence in Ann Arbor. And they lost to Utah, Notre Dame. That was just so you have, and even the Miami Ohio game, they did not look that good. So I think this has been building,
Right.
and then this was just kind of encapsulated and was just kind of just showed that there's a problem here. But I think you're right. I think if they're 5-0, you mishandled this. You need to work on your protocol.
Yep.
And then you move forward. I don't think you come off as bumbling. It's just like the whole headset thing. You always hear him criticized for the headset. You didn't hear much about it the year they went to the Sugar Bowl, but all of a sudden, when they were 11-2, it was fine. He's old school. He's doesn't need a headset. And now all of a sudden, it's like he's clueless because he doesn't wear a headset. So
it's like any relationship where when it's going great, you don't notice the little idiosyncrasies. You don't notice like the toilet paper roll was not put on the right way. When things aren't going well, you notice every little thing, and that's what it sounds like Michigan fans are doing. Michigan fans, Michigan students, alumni, whatever, are doing with Brady Hoke and Dave Brandon, where does that leave us with Gardner being named today? They go to Rutgers, and Rutgers is 3-1. Michigan, I think they need this game. This is a game. I think this is the defining moment of their season. Where do we go from here for Michigan at Rutgers this weekend?
Yeah, and Rutgers leads the Big Ten in sacks. They have 21 sacks, so we've watched an offensive line that has not done a very good job of protecting, and it looks like Gardner has regressed over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
When you watch Michigan, they have a couple of good backs, but it's just, it's hard to tell. I mean, you're right. This is a game. They lose this game. You have back-to-back losses against Minnesota and Rutgers, and you haven't even played your two rivals, Michigan State and Ohio State, yet.
Penn State's coming up even before those. You get to those two games, so yeah.
Yeah, it becomes a really tough situation that it's not good. So and then the fact is, and people say, what is he supposed to say? But then Hoke said, this week he believes that this team can still win the Big Ten, and obviously that comment got mocked.
Yep.
I mean, I know, what is he supposed to say? I mean, we're done, but
only one loss in the Big Ten, so
it's true. I mean, they're just going to have to have a heck of a week of practice. So,
what else is jumping out at you as far staying in the Big Ten? Ohio State, it's a team you've covered before. Have they turned the corner?
Looks like the offense is hitting all cylinders. Yes, the last 2 weeks have been Cincinnati and Kent, but last week they almost set the school record for your yardage. They had 710 yards on offense. They had 45 first downs. Barrett is the first quarterback since Troy Smith to go back-to-back 300-yard passing games, so I think he's coming along. One of the same problems that continues to rear its ugly head for them is the pass defense. Gave up 4 long touchdowns to Gunnar Kiel in the game against, which helped them keep it close. At one point, pulling within 5 points in the third quarter. So that's something they have to clean up. I mean, they brought Chris Ash in the offseason, the former defensive coordinator from Arkansas, Wisconsin, to try to work on that secondary. The talent seems to be there. I mean, if you look at, if you go by these, the recruiting rankings and all that, I mean, the talent should be there.
Right.
But, again, it was another big yardage, and that was what was the killer at the end of last season. So I think the offense is coming along. It'll be interesting to see Maryland. Maryland, they'll get a nice test. They've got a couple good receivers in Stephon Diggs and Deion Long. Diggs, actually, his choices for schools actually came down to Ohio State and Maryland, so it'll be kind of interesting. So I think I think the real interesting game in the Big Ten will be Michigan State and Nebraska.
Good night. That is like one of, when you talk about big-time college football weekends, must-see Saturdays, that's the only bummer I have about actually going to a game this weekend, is because there are 6 big games involving ranked teams, not just one ranked team, but 2 ranked teams, and that Nebraska-Michigan State game, holy moly, what I mean, we've talked about Michigan State before, but not a whole lot about Nebraska. Amir Abdullah, or is it Amir Abdullah? Is
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
that his name?
Yeah.
Fear Amir. He is one of the early Heisman candidates from my perspective. I don't know about you, but
Hmm.
that this is Michigan State's. Like I said last time, Michigan State's had a few buys. Not just one bye week. They've had a few buys with
Yeah, they
the
have.
competition they face, but I think that's helped them to recover from the Oregon game, heal up, and before they dig into their Big Ten. What can you tell me though about Nebraska?
Well, I mean, Nebraska's kind of had they've had some buys themselves in their schedule. So this is kind of a good litmus test for them. I mean, last year they lost in Lincoln to Michigan State 41-28. That was the first time Michigan State had beaten them. They have a really good offense. I mean, they lead the Big Ten in total yards. I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, they have Kenny Bell's a great wide receiver. He's a good. He stretches the field. And I think it'll be an interesting quarterback duel too. There, you got Tommy Armstrong from Nebraska and Connor Cook from Michigan State, and then like you were saying, Michigan State's had 2 straight games with 50 points. Were able to get with Eastern Michigan and Wyoming. So this is I think this is a great kind of to see where both programs are early on. This is a big game. This will be, but we'll definitely be able to see where Nebraska is, if they're for real. Because I think a lot of folks, definitely in the Big Ten, the East is probably the stronger division. So I think a lot of folks probably look at Nebraska as maybe an early front runner in the West. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what wins out as far as this game goes. Michigan State ranks 11th overall in FBS on defense. Nebraska comes in at 31. Nebraska is ranked 3rd in rushing yards, whereas Michigan State, they are, I mean, obviously despite those 2 games, they rank 3rd in scoring. So it'll be interesting to see which one wins out this weekend. But like we said, that is one of 6 games on Saturday. But I want to talk about Thursday, tomorrow night's game. Whew, goodness. I think the total points right now in Vegas is hovering right around 78, 79. And if you don't know who we are talking about, that is going to be Arizona at Oregon. And oh my goodness, I don't know if you were awake to see that last game for Arizona, Nick, but I watched it live on TV. Not unfortunately, I wasn't there, but that Hail Mary, they're calling it Hail Mary, not a Hail Mary. It was a Hail Mary. It was that last second, Anu Solomon to just chuck it, heave it into the end zone. Arizona players going up for it. Cal players going up for it. Arizona comes down with it. Clock expires, and it was one of those ones where you just, if you're a kid and you're playing football with your buddies on the playground, at the park, whatever, you just heave it. It was that kind of a feeling. And so, but both teams have had last week off. Oregon, did you get a chance to watch any of the Oregon-Washington State game at all, Nick?
I did. I saw some of it when it was actually rerunning, and their offensive line has got some issues. I mean, so I think
7 sacks.
Yeah. So
that was
yeah.
Wazoo.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was. So I think they've got some issues. So I still think obviously they're one of the top teams in the country, and they can throw up points with anybody. But this could definitely blow up a scoreboard, and
they
and
just
Arizona,
got a new scoreboard down in Tucson, but it's not being played there, so that's a good thing.
And remember what happened last year. Last year, Arizona beat them in Tucson. I mean, 42-16. I mean, and everybody was shocked. So I'm sure Oregon's not going to be shocked by them. It's going to definitely take them seriously this time. And and going into Autzen, we've talked about it. That's a very difficult place, and on a Thursday night. So,
Yeah, you know that there will be sufficient lubrication taking place before the game. But yeah,
yes,
Arizona ranks 8th in passing, Ducks rank 4th in scoring. In like you said, the Ducks got exposed. Also on defense to an extent. They were brought it up during the broadcast because Wazoo was lining up 7 on the line to help open up the holes, give Connor Halliday time to throw. So those defensive backs were tested all night. They will be tested against one of the top wide receiving cores in all of college football. But I didn't tell you I was going to do this. What's your prediction?
I think since it's in Eugene, I'm going to still stick with the Ducks.
Okay, will it be more than 79 combined score?
I will say yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be like one of those like 49, 42 type deals. So or like 50. Yeah. Oh yeah. I would go. I would go over.
I'm
Yeah.
going Oregon. I'm going to say 53-35.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Arizona will score, but I don't know if they'll score that much. But we'll see.
It'll be one of those things where they miss out on one opportunity to score, and then that'll be the game, essentially. So.
Or they have had some turnover issues at key points in the game, so that could. I mean, yes, they're 4-0. Both teams are 4-0, but I think it might finally come back to bite them. But when we were talking before the show, we were looking at Friday. We were looking at Friday as some serious. That's a great appetizer to what we've got coming on Saturday. Friday we start off with Louisville and Syracuse. Syracuse played Notre Dame last week, was it?
Yes.
I think early on they gave Notre Dame all they could handle. I believe they beat Virginia. No, they lost to Virginia in overtime earlier this year. I don't remember. See, it's my West Coast bias coming through. Louisville with Coach Bobby Petrino. That should be a fun, entertaining game to get us started for 2 West Coast games: San Diego State and Fresno State, Utah State and BYU. What jumps out at you for those Friday games, Nick?
Well, just a reminder, the Louisville-Syracuse game is not a Big East game anymore. It's an ACC game.
It's East Coast. It's all the same to me, Nick.
Now, I think if with the BYU-Utah State game, if we'd have like a fun quarterback matchup, but I don't think Utah State's Chucky Keaton. He hurt his knee a couple of weeks ago, so that would have been kind of a fun matchup. They've provided some exciting games, Utah State and BYU, but I don't think it doesn't look like he's going to play, so that kind of brings that game down a little bit. But
it'll be a good test for BYU because they travel to Central Florida next week. Granted, the Central Florida of last year, but it's going to be a short week for them. I was just looking at the schedule before we started, and they play Utah State this weekend, and then they got to fly across the country to play Central Florida on Thursday night, so they can't afford any injuries.
No, and Utah State, that program's made big strides in the last few years. Gary Anderson ended up going to Wisconsin, and they've given them some pretty good games over the years. That's been, it's an in-state game, rivalry, so that's always an interesting and kind of fun game. I mean, I would say the way BYU is playing this year, I would go with BYU. I think in the other ones, I think I would have to lean towards Louisville, and then the Fresno State. Fresno State's probably just happy to be back in the Mountain West after after their non-conference schedule. And,
I was looking at their schedule, Nick, and they don't have a bye at all until later this month.
Oh, ouch!
I know they have just been going full tilt here, there, and everywhere. And then San Diego State, they come in at 2-2 as well. Their only losses are to Oregon State and then ranked Carolina. And yeah, like we said with the Bulldogs, USC, Utah, and Nebraska, all early in the season, all early season losses for Fresno State, but still, that's trying with the new quarterback because David Carr is now with my lowly Raiders, and well, yeah. So yeah, but like I said, that's just the appetizer. So you talked about Nebraska and Michigan State. There were 6 games on there, Nick, that are just going to be. It's like grab your beverages, put a refrigerator next to your couch if you can, so you don't have to leave. Get your food and just park yourself in front of the TV. What are you watching this weekend?
Well, I think also, the SEC, the two teams involving the Mississippi schools, which
Yeah.
is weird to say. The Alabama at Ole Miss game.
Good.
I mean,
Good
it's kind of that should be interesting. I mean, I think Ole Miss is going to have to play better than they did. I mean, they're 4-0 and Alabama's 4-0. They're both 1-0 in the SEC, but I think Ole Miss is going to have to tighten it up a little bit. Last week when they played Memphis, they were a little sloppy. And then they had 10 penalties for 117 yards. And they're not going to be able to do that against Alabama.
Right.
And the interesting thing about Alabama is whether you love them or hate them, but Lane Kiffin has done a tremendous job with that offense. They've had the most total offense yards through the first 4 games in the history of Crimson Tide football. So, I mean, I know most people probably lean towards hate them, but they have gotten off to a pretty good start. So that should be interesting. You know, Ole Miss has only given up 8.5 points per game, so I think that's going to be definitely interesting. You know, down at Ole Miss, so that should be a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
I think just kind of running through there.
Oklahoma at TCU.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the offense of Oklahoma versus defense at TCU. I think that's going to be really interesting. And both times the Sooners have played TCU before. They've both been like within 1 possession.
Okay.
So I think that'll be. I still think Oklahoma is too much for them, but that should be. I think that'll be a good game. So.
And we've also got LSU at Auburn. And Stanford at Notre Dame. Stanford, I believe, upon last check, has they are giving up the fewest yards per game according to NCAA stats. So.
Yeah, I think like with them, it's just it seems like that their offense has not been able to put up the points, which I think they're going to have to put up more points against, obviously Notre Dame. And Golson has really come on as a passer. That year off with George Whitfield has really paid off. I guess it wasn't intended, obviously, to take the year off, but last week against Syracuse, he completed 25 straight passes. So, and their defense has been great.
They weren't. Let's be real here. They weren't these humongous long pass plays.
Yeah, I know, and there was.
But still, there's something to be said about consistency, right?
Exactly.
All right.
And
go ahead.
No, and then just as kind of a fun quarterback matchup is the Texas A&M Mississippi State game with Dak Prescott and Kenny Hill. I think there should be a lot of points. Speaking of a lot of points,
a lot of athleticism on that field. A&M can really make a statement with that game. I think I said this last time, in the college football community on Google Plus, I'm a quote unquote voter. I'm one of those people. We only do top 5, but I have not put A&M in my top 5 yet, because yes, they beat Arkansas last week, which was a really pretty good game, by the way, but it's just I haven't felt like they've been tested enough, if that makes any sense, and their talent level compared to the other 5 that I have in my rankings. So they can go a long way into to shaking up the top five, at least not in mine, but maybe with AP voters and in the coaches poll, if they can come out and just uh, take it to the next level against Mississippi State.
Yeah, definitely. And I think then, I mean, and then Kenny Hill,
Hmm.
who knows? He can. Yeah, I think he'll have opportunities, especially playing the SEC West, that can move him up as a person in the Heisman race as well. I mean, I don't think he's there yet, but
No.
he'll have the opportunity with the type of teams he's playing against to make a statement as well.
Since you mentioned the Heisman, I've I'm not a Heisman voter. I'm not a member of any of that. I never will be. But just for fun, my top three in the Heisman are Mariota, Abdullah, Fear Amir. Love that. I love that hashtag, Fear Amir, and and then Todd Gurley, who is just a beast down in Georgia. Who are your top three?
It's hard to go against Mariota and Todd Gurley. I guess just for sake of changing it up, Amari Cooper from Alabama. He's put
Oh,
up
good
some
call.
pretty monster numbers out of the receiving, so I just switch him up at 3. But
All right.
I don't think you can go wrong with any of those guys as at this point in the season.
It's like Gurley just gets it and he gets going and he's gone. Gurley gone.
Yeah, he's just
Girly gone. That should be like a hashtag in itself. Girly gone. Well, if it would not be our show, it would not be a Crossing Route show if we didn't at least come up with some sleeper games. Did you get a chance to look at any sleeper games?
Yeah, I did, and as far as some sleeper games,
Not
I
ones that'll
have
put us to sleep.
no, I know. So I think mine are more of ones that would be. I think the Florida Tennessee game,
Okay.
which I know Florida can kind of put you to sleep sometimes, but I think just the coaching with. Sorry about that, Gator fans. It's just the fact that Will Muschamp has a lot riding on us, and I think a loss to Tennessee, he kind of starts to become Brady Hoke of the South, I guess. I mean, he's same hiring. I
Yeah.
think that. So
Yeah.
I think that he's. If you, and then the other, if you want that like kind of like that, I'll send one your way because if you want another point one, if you don't want one that's just, is I would say Cal at Washington State
Yep.
for
Got
fun.
that one.
Because I think there'd be a lot of points.
Yes. Let me see if I can find what the. That is the same exact one as that's the same exact total as Arizona Oregon. It's hovering right around 78, 79, depending on which book you look at in Vegas. So, oh my gosh, yes. Oh
So
my gosh, yes.
so yeah, so if you want something to keep you awake, then there's your game. So consider
Lord,
especially.
no. It's on late enough for you guys. It's on at 10:30 Eastern time.
I know those are that. If it goes into it, if they have another like I think Cal won last week in double overtime against
Yes.
Colorado, so that would put you in that like 1 to 2 a.m. slot. So.
That was a heartbreaker for Colorado too, but that was entertaining. Two great quarterbacks. My sleeper games. I'm not quite sure why I threw this one in there. I just did. It's Texas Tech at Kansas State. I think, although Kansas State is ranked number 23, there's just times where you watch them and you think, how are they not just blowing this team out? You know what I mean? They
hmm
they don't assert themselves to their full potential. I don't know what it is. There's just times where I watch those the Wildcat games, and I'm thinking they should just be blowing this team out, not even giving them a chance, put the nail in the coffin. And Texas Tech, they should Cliff Kingsbury. I can never say his name.
Or you
Anyway,
could just call him Ryan Gosling.
oh no, yo, Coach Cliff. Hey, Cliffy baby, King Cliff. There we go. Um, I think he might have some fun testing that Kansas State defense. But my third one, and which is going to allow me to talk about them, will be Utah at UCLA.
Mhm.
Utah blew it against
Oh,
Washington State Cougars last week. I mean, it was a downpour. Don't get me wrong, hard to battle in those elements, but they blew it to Washington State. But they're at UCLA. How UCLA is ranked number 8, I do not know. Um, yes, they've won, but they haven't impressed me. Even though they blew out one of my teams, Arizona State Sun Devils, I watched the majority of that game, um, and there was a oh my gosh, there was so much sloppy tackling, Nick. I don't know if you got to watch any of it, but it's like ASU guys were just their young defense, don't get me wrong, but their techniques, it was just like, oh, let me just throw a shoulder at the guy who's trying to run by me, and maybe I've knocked those guys down in high school before. I'm gonna just knock him down. It was that kind of sloppy tackling by ASU, to where
oh wow.
2 or 3 of those touchdowns by UCLA, it's like, hello, where's the techniques, boys?
I mean,
Um,
I saw Adams' kickoff return, so I did see that was pretty poor. So tackling.
yeah, and I think when I was watching the A&M game, A&M Arkansas game, I was thinking, okay, A&M went to the same school of tackling that ASU did, because there was a few times where they were tackling the same way, but um, Utah is better this year. UCLA is at home. I did not want to bring up ASU USC because of ASU's debacle last week. So those are my 3 sleeper games, Nick.
Well, sounds good.
Yeah, and I think we are going to close this out so that you can go watch your second favorite baseball team. Who is that,
I
Nick?
know.
Who would that be, Nick?
That'd be the Pittsburgh Pirates. So yeah, I know it seems kind of sacrilegious to be talking about baseball on a college football show, but
It's that time of year. When I was working last night, doing some writing, Twitter was just blowing up with baseball. Great game between the Royals and the A's, and what did I do? It was Tuesday. I immediately looked at the calendar and thought, oh, 2 or 3 weeks we'll be watching football on a Tuesday night instead of baseball.
I
That's
know.
what I was thinking about.
I know that's great. That's when you start getting the Mid American Conference comes back on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. You get those nice fun like 50 to 45 games. So
Yes, hashtag Maction. Maction, we miss you. We love you, Maction. We need you to come back. Of course, if you're watching a Pac-12 game, like you're going to watch that Washington State game, the hashtag is Paction. So thank
okay.
you, Nick. We did it. We made it to another show. Yay, we have a name. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Paulenich, and you can also find me at my website at thesportssavant.com and also at scarletandgame.com.
Right on. I am Sunny Cadwallader, better known as Cad Chica, all across social media channels except for LinkedIn and Google Plus. Google Plus, you can find me with my name. Check out the website. I've been writing a lot more lately about a wide variety of topics. cadchicasports.com. Connect with me, yes, on Twitter, on Instagram, and like I said, I am excited to go watch some college football in person this weekend. Nick, my friend, thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you again. We had a blast.
And we are going to try this again. Come on, it's not working. See, technical issues. Hey, 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 guys. Join us next time.